Hi everyone, I'm Nathan Rushton. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for this opportunity. I'm head coach down at Walkden Cricket Club. I've been there for 3 years and I oversee the juniors and the seniors at the club. I also play as well. My big task this year was to gain sponsorship from companies to basically increase our revenue for our juniors at the club. We usually rely on two big fundraising windows, which is Bonfire Night and New Year's Eve. Obviously, with the COVID restrictions, we've lost out on those. So we are in the process. Obviously, we had around about £700 in our junior account, which obviously the main club took to pay for bills and rates during the last 12 months. And what we are currently asking is obviously to gain sponsorship for better equipment for our juniors and to give them a better opportunity. So what we are obviously located in the centre of Walkden. We are obviously just over the road from the big Tesco's in Walkden. We have over 40 juniors registered with us, and they come from all kinds of backgrounds, from affluent backgrounds to more low-income families. And actually, our club backs onto one of the largest council estates in the area, which is where a lot of our juniors come, first of all, to come off the streets and stop causing issues on the streets, and also to play sport during the summer. Traditionally, obviously, football and rugby ends usually April time, and kids want to play sport. Being a school teacher myself, I always push for students to take part in as much sport as they can. If you look at the depression rates at the moment, with the last 12 months, they're sky high, and obviously sport is scientifically proven that it helps the mental well-being of children and also adults. But my main focus for this money would be to improve our offer to juniors. Obviously we have a great team of volunteers at the club, but unfortunately when we are providing training sessions and games, our equipment lets us down. Obviously we don't have the equipment to give away to people. Well, sorry, not pupils, children, to have, because obviously if we did that for every student, we'd need an endless pot of money. So it's having like an age group like kit bag, so that these pupils or kids who come along are able to access the kit, play cricket. I don't know whether any of you have played cricket here, but to a decent cricket bat these days is surplus of £150, and some children from the estate near that the club backs onto, £150 is a hell of a lot of money, especially when most of their clothes are hand-me-downs or charity shop. It is some children are struggling with that, and if we give them a better experience, it's more likely they would come back to the club and play cricket and not be on the streets and not be causing antisocial behavioural issues, etc. It's a big passion of mine, cricket, as you can tell in my voice, and just here, it is a dying sport. It's not as well thought, in the area of Walkden. You've got some clubs that are thriving, but then obviously you've got some clubs which are really struggling. And we are in the middle of that road. We've got lots of members, junior members, but obviously, as I say, some of those junior members suffer because they can't afford the whites, the spikes, the setup just to play cricket. It's not as easy as just like football, where you can literally have a pair of shin pads and boots and everything else is given to you and washed on a weekly basis. The other thing that we obviously need to take consider, obviously with the COVID regulations, I don't know whether any of you know much about cricket, but with giving bats and gloves and pads to certain children, they then, that if, for example, a child uses a pair of pads and the gloves and a helmet, that equipment can't be used for 48 hours. because of obviously quarantine issues, because obviously the sweat on them and etc. So if that one child uses that bit of equipment, nobody can use it again until obviously 2 days later. So that's going to put stress on us from what we've done in the past, where it's usually, one set of pads 10 kids would use on one night. We would have to obviously purchase more, so the kids are able to access the training session and access better equipment. So that's sort of my pitch, if you will. And I'd just like to thank you for your time and effort